So on our way down to London today, it's an exciting one. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for everyone who tuned into the Ibiza vlog. That was the first time I decided to jump on camera and be in front of the camera instead of behind, which I definitely put myself out of my comfort zone for. But I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process, I enjoyed the feedback, I enjoyed the messages I got, which was unbelievable, and it gives us a bit more confidence in doing more things like this. I think more people than I thought are actually, how can I say it, they take more than what I thought from my journey and following what I'm doing. So anyway, enough of that rambling. Today we're on the train to London. As you can see, got the Mac open on the edits, getting all client work done. But today the purpose is to build the podcast. We've got 4 very exciting guests coming on the podcast today. So we're making the trip down to London. We're having a bit of a problem with hiring space, aren't we, Mike? The space has been a bit of a nightmare, to be fair. We've got one site saying it's about 300 quid to hire a space for a couple of hours. We've got another site saying it's £18. Was it 18 quid? 18 quid. So I'm gonna have to put my old sales tone on when I get there and see who I can speak to. I want to speak to your manager. But yes, we've got some really exciting guests. I'm not going to mention who they are. You just have to stay tuned to the ContentCAST on YouTube, as always. But they're really big, and I think the reason why I want to bring you behind the scenes today is because I feel like a lot of people think you can just be connected and, you know, get amazing guests for a podcast and it'll just happen like that. But actually, to cultivate relationships, it takes weeks, months, years for me, and it has done, certainly for the guests I've got coming on today. These are relationships I've built over a long period of time. It's not just someone who I've approached on an instant DM. These are relationships I've had to literally kind of nurture over a long period of time. So we're down there today. It's gonna be phenomenal. Back to what I was gonna say was, I think building a podcast up, it's a lot harder than what people think, and that was the point I was trying to make. Like, it's not easy to kind of create these relationships and to do it. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Obviously, if I didn't have a genius like Mike, who does a lot of the editing, well, he does all the editing actually. He makes my life very easy. And I know that a lot of people who are trying to start podcasting, they don't have the fortune of knowing people like what I do. And I think it definitely can still be done, because I did have a podcast years ago and I did it all by myself. I did a lot of things on Zoom. I did a lot of podcasts in person. It was a bit of a fart on, if you like, to pull it off, but at the same time we did it. But yeah, just stay tuned and I'll check back in with you in a bit. Right, so we're finally here. We've got a lovely setup. If you check out all the BTS, this is what goes on behind the scenes of a podcast. Some people have got really basic setups. I'm quite proud of ours. I think it's class. We've got obviously the 2 mics here, 2 camera setup, nice big light. We've got some nice ambient lights as well, if you can, I don't know if the camera can pick them up, but we had a bit of a nightmare coming here, because what happened? So we got here originally, I don't know if I mentioned this on the train piece there, but when we got here originally, all the prices of all the rooms are completely different to what they were online, to what they were saying when we were ringing them. So me, obviously I didn't get this all sorted in advance. So I waited till I got here, and now I'm here. We've managed to sweet talk the lady of this place to give us this for a little bit cheaper. I think she said it was normally about 600 quid, 500, 600 quid for a conference room. We got it a bit cheaper than that. But yeah, so we've got an array of guests coming on today. So I just thought I'd pick up the dictaphone/mic and show you a little bit backstage before, I'm saying backstage, behind the scenes before the first guests come, but I think he's actually here now with me, so I'm gonna have to go. So we've just finished the recording with Marcus from Margate. That was his name on it. I first saw Marcus on Dodge Woodall's podcast and I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. So I just thought, I need to get this guy on. But his stories were unbelievable. So this bloke, right, how mad's this? Get this. This bloke was a doorman. He was like a gangster doorman and he literally ran the doors. He was one of the most well-known doormen in the UK. But he's been shot at, he's had it all. He's ran clubs, he's had 200 staff, he's literally did everything. And some of the stories he told me today, I don't know when this vlog's actually going to go out, but if it goes out before the podcast, which I'm hoping it does, Mike, it's on you. If it does go out beforehand, then make sure you watch an episode. I cannot stress it enough. But loads of other shit that's been going on. So you can tell, outfit change, class. Setup, we've changed colours of lights. If you want to have a look there, in the colour of the light. I thought I'd take you along for the ride and actually show you what goes on. Like, there's a lot of bullshit that goes on behind the scenes when you're building a podcast. So one of our guests can't make it. Basically, it was a miscommunication. He couldn't get there. He didn't want to be waiting outside. I couldn't answer the phone because it was an aeroplane mode when I was doing another podcast. So unfortunately, we've had to miss out on this guest. So the trip's cost us a lot of money to make this happen. However, you know, it is what it is. We've got a wonderful guest coming up next in Josh Kelly, which it's excited us out about this one because I've actually known Josh for a while, but I spoke to Josh about coming on the podcast and the timings were never right for him or me, and then he lives obviously down in London, I'm up in the northeast, and the times never really came right for both of us. So it's happening today, which to be fair was the podcast, it was the main one. This was the podcast I wanted to get on, so I cannot wait. We'll try and get some BTS or something behind the scenes of the next podcast, because that's one thing we didn't do actually, Mike. We didn't get any BTS from Marcus's podcast, so maybe G7X out, get a little bit of footage. But yeah, we'll try and show you as much as we can. Stay tuned. And that is a wrap, people. We're back in Newcastle. The train was decent, to be fair, but what we did before we got on the train, we had the biggest sweat on in the world. So Josh came to do the podcast, but you need to get some food before him, which we didn't factor in. Obviously we did the podcast, it was, oh my God, it was phenomenal. It was an emotional podcast as well, which, to be fair, I learned a lot about myself by sitting down on this podcast with Josh. But at the end, we literally packed up our stuff, said see you later to Josh, and fucking sprinted to a point where we actually sprinted past Josh, Mike said, on the way, and Josh thought he was getting mugged. That's how fucking mad it was. But we managed to catch it in the end. I looked back, Mike was like, absolutely knackered. He was like, no, we're not going to make it, let's leave it. He was going to sack it off. But obviously we're packed light when we do the, if you have a look at the stuff there, we pack nice and light when we do the podcast because we don't take it that seriously. So yeah, we sprinted, we managed to make the train. We got some chocolate on the train. I'm absolutely starving now. But yes, I hope you have enjoyed. This is obviously the second installment of these vlogs. If you have, please toss me a subscribe because it lets me know that you want more of this type of stuff. Even if you don't want to subscribe, hit the like or give it a share to someone who is as mad as me and wants to build a brand or a podcast as much as what I do. But I want you to stay on this journey because this is only going to get bigger and better. I'm a firm believer in manifestation, which I mentioned in the first vlog, and things are getting bigger, the guests are getting bigger, the brand's getting bigger, the content PT business is getting bigger, and I just want you to bring you along more for me when I'm older to look back and say, fucking hell, some of the mad shit that you used to get up to. But I hope you take some value from this, hope you take some enjoyment from it, and until the next vlog, watch what you're doing.